Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I am back from a few days off. I don't usually take that very often. I got a little fishing in down at the lake, which was fantastic, something else I usually don't get to do. And it has been hot here. It's about 95 degrees right now, which means we're in the middle of a severe thunderstorm warning, because if it gets hot here, we end up having a nasty storm. But anyway, this video is going to be about something that people have asked me quite a few times now. And specifically, they've asked, do you miss the Fatboy? Now, I'm going to actually talk about whether it was a mistake to get rid of it in the first place. And for anybody who's watched the channel for a while, you know that I had a 2021 Fatboy with the 114 Milwaukee 8 in it. It was a stage 1 16-inch Apes blackjack metallic. I had Vance & Hines Eliminator 300 slip-ons on it. It was a very, very nice bike. But I have to admit, I ended up getting sucked in and maybe a little overexcited about getting another bike. So we're going to look at whether I miss it and whether it was actually a big mistake on my part to get rid of it. And to go through, I have my handy dandy notes so I don't forget anything. So let's have a look. And I mean, so if we look at it firstly, financially, was it a good decision financially? Absolutely not. It was a completely stupid financial decision. I didn't need to get a new bike, quite frankly, and with this bike now, I have higher payments, not a ton higher, but higher payments that I had before, which is unfortunate. Now the bike was actually MSRP. This bike is cheaper than the Fatboy. However, once you start adding on the parts that I added on this, yeah, now it's more expensive, or at least as expensive with the Apes. I've got the Vance & Hines. You might not be able to see that. Vance & Hines 2-into-1 exhaust, stuff like that, stage 1. It's easily just as expensive, if not more, than the Fatboy was. The other thing about it is, you know, money-wise, I would have been, it would have been much better for me just to cam the Fatboy, and I would have it pretty much at the numbers performance-wise of the lowrider, and that would have saved me an awful lot of money rather than buying this bike and putting a down payment on it and all that kind of stupidity. So was it a good financial decision? Absolutely not. Now, performance-wise, was it a step up? Well, yes, it was a step up technically. This is a 117 engine. It's a stage 1, the same as the Fatboy was. It is a more powerful bike. It has higher torque, it has higher horsepower. It's definitely faster, but again, I could have, you know, maybe cammed the Fatboy and brought it up close to around, or if not the same or more numbers than this is. Now also, as far as performance goes, this thing has much better handling than the Fatboy, way better handling, I have to say. But the bike's also, it's lighter, and it's also got smaller wheels, just say thinner tires and wheels on it, which makes it's way better going around corners. It's very, you know, flickable, much better than the Fatboy was in that area. And also with handling, you have to look at the suspension. The suspension is definitely upgraded on this from the Fatboy as well. You've got an extra inch travel in the in that rear monoshock, and with the inverted forks, the front suspension is miles better than the Fatboy, in my opinion. That's one thing that really stuck out. Now, having said that this bike performs better than the Fatboy overall, I also have a caveat for that, and that is that the bike actually has to run to be better performance than the Fatboy. Now, if you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I've had a rough experience with this bike warranty-wise. It had a transmission issue after 1,400 kilometers. That was a pain in the ass, and I couldn't ride it. So the fact that it has a bigger engine and it's better suspension and handling really means nothing when you actually can't ride the thing. So in the end, the Fatboy would beat it out, because I never had an issue with the Fatboy, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying that everybody's gonna have a problem with the lowrider. Just saying, in my personal experience, that's what it's been so far. Now, another point is pain in the ass, is what I basically called it. The buying experience for this bike with the dealership was a pain in the ass. It was the worst experience I've ever had with any dealership, whether it be Harley Davidson or anybody else, whether it be a motorcycle, a car, a truck. This was the worst. From everything from prices changing to getting the bike actually ordered and into the dealership, then getting the parts for the bike to put on. It was a nightmare. I did a video on it, by far the most watched video I've done. But it was just a nightmare, and it was a real pain in the ass. Now, also a pain in the ass was the warranty issues. 1,400 kilometers on this bike, it had to go in with a transmission problem. And Harley Davidson, the company and the dealership, did not know what was wrong with it. They still to this day could not tell you what specifically was wrong with it, other than it didn't shift correctly. So after dicking around, changing parts, they finally decided to change out the entire guts of the transmission, and then lost the parts in transport. All in all, it ended up costing me about a month and a half of riding this year. The bike went in about mid-May. I didn't get it back till pretty much July. So lost a lot of time with that. So pain in the ass this thing was. I did not have any real big pains in the ass with the Fatboy, other than the front tire wearing unevenly. So definitely, we got to put a check mark in the Fatboy box for that one. The last point being styling. Now, I like the look of this bike. I'm usually not a big blacked out fan. I'm usually more a fan of chrome. However, I do have to say that 30th anniversary Fatboy looks very good. But in the styling, I've always liked the Fatboys. And even though I really like the styling of this one, I still would give the nod just slightly to the Fatboy, because that's one thing it's known for, is just that iconic style. And I'm talking about Fatboys like pre-2022. I'm not really big into the slotted wheels they have now, or the badging on the tank. But other than that, definitely the Evolution Fatboys, the twin cam Fatboys. I was a big fan of the earlier M8s with chrome, not that satin chrome stuff. So I would give the styling to the Fatboy there. So when we really get down to it, in the end, was it a mistake to buy the trade in the Fatboy for the lowrider? Yes, I have to say it was a mistake. I have to take the L on this one. Although I do love this bike, I do. When I'm on this bike, I do love it. At the same time, with the the finances of it, and the pain in the ass of it, and the fact I couldn't ride the damn thing for a month and a half, yeah, it was a mistake to get rid of the Fatboy, because there's nothing wrong with it other than the front tire, like I said, wearing unevenly. Other than that, I never had an issue with it, and I didn't need to get another bike, quite frankly. They hooked me and they reeled me in, quite frankly. They got me. It's my own stupidity. I got too excited about things, and well, it happens. And now the other question is, do I really miss it? hard to say. When I'm on this bike, I definitely do not miss the Fatboy. When this thing's running and I can ride it and I'm on it, I do not miss the Fatboy at all, because this thing, performance-wise, blows it out of the water when it's, you know, working. So it's hard to say whether I really miss it. It wasn't a good idea to get rid of the Fatboy, but now that I got this at the same time, I don't always miss it. So either or, but definitely I didn't need to get the bike. It was a mistake to get rid of it. I've got this bike now. I do really like it. So I'll be sticking with this bike for quite a while now. But anyway, that's it. That's all. But let me know what you think. I don't think a lot of you would have got rid of a perfectly good Fatboy for a lowrider, but hey, who knows? Let me know in the comments, and hope you guys are out there getting some good riding in. And until next time, we will see you later.